It's all good. Pardon us for being late. It's my fault. I'm not sure how, but I'm apparently messed up my invitation, so I apologize. We are
Oh, good.
here going to start.
We were drugged up.
Yeah, I am. I've been fairly heavily medicated. I am not gonna lie. The last few days have been a blur.
No worries. No worries.
You were so funny yesterday. I think was it yesterday I was listening to you and you were so bumbling. You were bumbling around and I was like, "Poor Katie. She's so sick."
Uh,
I plus part of it is I'm just really tired. You know what I mean? When you're sick and you're just always just drained completely. So
yeah.
that's part of it. That's my own fault, I guess.
I'm
Um,
sure.
are we ready to try to get this started?
Let's do it.
Ready?
I'm
With
excited.
we're like 15 minutes into our time, so we probably ought to get started.
Sorry.
I'm taking a
No
page out
problem.
of Jackie's book and I've got it playing on the screen because I was like, I'm not taking notes. I've got this thing nearly memorized. Um,
I know, right?
so we're
I've
gonna,
seen it so many times.
yeah, that was
Same.
kind of my.
Yeah, I got it
We're
up on the
gonna
screen too.
take a try. I had like a good thing in my head. Brain still not working. We're gonna give it a shot and talk about Outlander's episodes, starting from the first one. Jan, Jackie, Kathy, you've been here before. You know how it works. We're talking about Sassenach, and so I want to try to make sure we don't get ahead of ourselves and talk like about what's happening 3 seasons from now. So that's going to
Uh-huh.
be our challenge, is to talk about this episode.
Episode.
Yeah, like we've never seen it before.
Like we've never, we just happen to know everything about the characters. Um,
Yeah,
so
really.
I was rewatching it and I was really enjoying the narration by Claire.
Yeah.
The
They
voiceover. Yeah.
that I think was a really cool thing that they did for this premiere, because there's a lot of information to give us about the characters in a
Yeah.
really short amount of time, but it
Yep.
flows so effortlessly, this first
Yeah.
episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Absolutely.
oh,
Yeah, I really loved um because she used to like, and I'm not getting ahead, but I'm just saying there used to be um in the first season she spent a lot of time talking to us. And
True.
I love that about the series, is that they do spend that amount of time, and
yeah,
it takes a while for you to get to know these characters.
Yeah.
I love the beautiful scene, the very first scene where the mountains are just so beautiful.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
And from what I hear, that, Scotland, that's the first thing you notice, when you
True.
come out of any of the big cities, is how
okay,
beautiful the scenery is. So that was really pretty.
Well, they
yeah,
even talk about how Scotland is kind of part of the character of the show, at
Yes.
least especially the first season.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's gorgeous, and so they said it was part of, like, it was a character in the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of sets the standard for the show. When they do that, that opening scene, and then you kind of get the gist of, where this is kind of going,
hmm
you know, and then, yeah, you just see everything there. It is really, really pretty. So,
Very majestic. Yeah.
And
mhm.
then what happens is then you see the terrible aftermath of what war does. The two together, the beautiful scenery, and then a couple very short minutes later, you see the blood in the surgery.
Yeah.
She's
Her.
in surgery.
Yeah.
True.
And I do like that we kind of get like, this is the terribleness of surgery and her job, and we're right digging into it, but then it's the end. It's the end of the war. So we
Right.
sort of
Yeah.
get how desperate she's been during the war, what her work was like, and then
Yeah.
relief. And again, that moves very quickly, but not in a bad way. It didn't feel
No.
jumpy. It's just like that was the
Well,
moment.
yeah. And so she's happy to kind of get back to her normal life,
hmm
Yeah.
get back to Frank and, just get back to maybe having children. It's like she wants to have some normalcy in her life. Little
Right.
does she know.
It's funny because she talks about that in the very first opening
Right.
was about this vase and how she never had a home to put a vase
Right.
in. And
Right.
that was the whole premise of that, is that she never got to do that part. Just put a vase
Mhm.
somewhere it sits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In her life being a child either, because of how she grew up and how she was raised,
Yeah.
that they traveled everywhere. So she
Mhm.
never
Right.
had that.
I mean, how many of us have vases and we never think about that? I thought that was kind of cool how they
Yeah.
use the vase,
Hmm.
to symbolize the home.
Home, right?
I
True.
mean, a home can really be anywhere,
Right.
for various people. I mean, it doesn't have to have, a lot of material things in it. It can be really anywhere. But I think, with Claire's vision, that was like her, meaning of what home meant,
Right.
having that vase there.
Because
Right.
she's
Yeah.
never had it.
Have a
Mm-hmm.
space to put it, and
Right.
so it's still kind of like, because she's
Yeah.
never been still.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People with a
But
nomadic life, they aren't
adventurous,
carrying
like,
around their
yeah.
vases with them.
Yeah.
Exactly right. She does that right.
Right.
Exactly.
And then we get immediately into, okay, the war's over. She's back to married life, trying to figure out, but she hasn't seen her husband, would she say, for 10 days out of 5 years, something
Out
like
of five
that.
Yeah.
years, correct.
Crazy.
And so that's like being married to a stranger, really. I mean, in 5 years,
Yeah.
I know I'm a very different person than I was 5 years ago. And
Yeah.
so I do like that. I like how Diana went about that in the book and here, that you have to try and reconnect. This is not
Yeah.
like you can't just flip a switch and we're back on.
Right.
So I do like the premise of that, and that's why they're there in Scotland. They're just, trying to
Yeah.
get to know each other,
Right.
make a holiday of it instead of life. And that's where we're at right now. They're checking in, and I do. I love the
part,
scene where the jumping bed, and they got the lady
know.
downstairs looking up.
Looking up at him. Yeah.
I love that scene.
It's cute.
You know what's funny? I guess because I heard Sam talk about this in an interview, but he was talking about this noise that oh, what's her husband's real name? I know it's Fred.
Tobias?
Tony.
Yeah,
Tobias?
he makes
Oh,
Maya.
Tony.
Yeah, he makes this really weird kind of noise when he breathes in sometimes, and I heard it, and I was like, oh.
Oh, you're talking about Tobias, who plays
We're
it.
talking
Okay,
about
because I was
Tobias.
like her real husband. Okay,
Oh, Tobias
Oh.
Menzies.
Oh, like the actor husband. I thought you meant
yeah,
like the
that's
real
what I was
husband.
confused too.
She's got a real husband too.
I was saying sorry. That's
She went
Frank.
as girl.
He makes this kind of weird noise when he breathes in sometimes. He does it a couple times, and if you
He's
don't,
kind of
you're like,
nasally.
next time when you listen to him,
Yeah.
you'll hear it, because now that I've said that. But it's so funny
funny.
because I had never heard him
It
say
is kind of
until
nasally.
Sam said something about
Yeah.
it.
It
Anyway,
is very nasally, and you could hear him
Yeah.
on certain times when he breathes in, like when he's getting powered up, like.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yes, he does
And
do
he's
that.
getting
I
into his
completely agree.
character. He must have like sinus problems or something. But anyway, I just thought it was kind of interesting, after hearing Sam say something. But anyway,
Well, and it's funny how when you start watching and rewatching the episode, how you pick up on things that you might have missed
Yeah.
like the first or second or third time around too.
yeah,
Like the breathing thing. Maybe we didn't hear that so much the first time around, but then the
Yeah.
next time you go back, it's like, oh,
Things like that are just part of the character to me, so I don't notice it. I just take it all in at once to kind of, that's the feel of the character.
Right.
I thought it was really interesting. Like when they go to the castle, and and they push in the door, and they're there in the kitchen, and she's kind of being kind of flirty, sexual kind of. And he was a little more hesitant, and I didn't remember him being a little shy about it, at first. But here she's being Miss Sexual,
I love that.
Okay, I'm going to say something on behalf of Bevan Boulder, who I know would love to be on these chats, but she's got some health issues that Don't allow it.
Uh-huh.
But she has said many times, I'm going to say this for you, Bev, that she's so upset because in the books, that's the one thing Frank won't do. He won't provide oral assistance. He doesn't do that at all in the books. And
Really?
so everybody
Yeah.
was like, Frank doesn't do that. That's like, so I wonder if, like, all right, they're going to do it in the show because TV is different than the books. But if that hesitation is why they did it, so you can see him kind of go, all right, if I gotta kind of.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's like an open invitation, right?
right. Well, I think in the book
Exactly.
it's different than the one on the show too. I
Yeah.
mean, the one on the like I always said about a lot of these characters, they warmed them up and made them more pliable in the show than they are in the book. Because even Jamie's
Yes.
different. He's more brass in the book than
Mhm.
he is on the show. So
Yeah.
Sam kind of softened him. So same with Frank. I didn't really care for the Frank book, truly. Not that nice.
Yeah.
Not that nice a guy.
I don't like
Too
Frank.
academic. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
not that nice a guy.
Too academic, too stiff, too pasty.
Right. But the one on the screen is different. I actually enjoyed the one on the screen
Yeah.
and felt sorry for the Frank on the screen where I did not feel sorry for the one on the book.
And that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, didn't totally different.
Well, and a lot of people get upset about the way Frank treats Claire in a lot of ways, but at the same time, you've got to go, this is, 80 years ago. It's going to be
Yeah.
different. The dynamic is going to be different. And in a lot of ways, Frank was fairly open-minded. In a lot of ways, he wasn't.
Yeah, I think he was pretty open-minded from what he had to deal with her. Come on now.
Yeah. I agree. But I also still get upset when he's like, and we don't talk about it ever again, because that part makes
That
me
was
upset.
probably a huge mistake. Yeah.
Yeah, on
Hey,
his part.
You're going ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I remember seeing my grandparents, I mean, my dad was born in 1939, but my grandparents, obviously, a little before that, but, being at their homes and growing up and watching them, I mean, the times were very different,
Very
with the men and the women.
Very distinctive, right?
Yeah.
Very,
Well,
very
yeah,
much.
women
Yeah.
were
did
like
certain
in the
things and
kitchen
women did
cooking
other
all the
things,
time,
and that was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very distinctive. True.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
in the 50s, it was very distinctive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she definitely was before her time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Almost
That's one thing
definitely.
I loved about Claire is she knew her sexuality, and not a lot of shows show women sexuality. They always show a dude,
Yeah.
but very
Well, I
few
think
would
of-
show women and do it in a nice light, where she's
Mhm.
not, like a prostitute
Not
or something.
not being a
That's
whore.
the only
Right.
time they ever show that stuff. Where I love that about how they did it here and in the book is that she was a very sexual being and was proud to do that, and I think that's awesome.
She was more progressive,
Totally.
I
Right.
think, for her time, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, Katie, where are we now?
Oh, they're still in the castle. She
Yeah.
hasn't had her
Okay.
bath yet, so we're good.
Yeah.
I think Claire gets a sense, though, that maybe she had been there before, that there's something very eerie about, where she's entering,
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
gets that kind of vibe. And
I
then
got
when
a
she's
question
there,
for
it's
you
like,
guys.
oh,
If you guys have heard this before, can I ask a question?
Sure.
In that castle section where those two are walking in and they're in that castle, I heard a long time ago where someone said they heard a whisper when those two were in there, and it was Jamie whispering saying she's mine. Have you guys heard that?
No.
I have
I
heard
saw
that.
something posted like
Listen
that.
to that
but-
and see if you want to
Yeah.
tell me what you think that
Okay.
means.
I've never
'Cause when-
listened for it specifically, but I have heard that.
Have you heard that when I'm talking about?
Yes.
I saw it posted, but I've never really listened for it.
Oh, you all got to slow it down and listen to that. 'Cause it's
I'll see if I
eerie.
can find that. We'll see what we can do. We'll see what we can do on that. Important
Yeah.
information.
Because it's like
Yeah.
a whisper, almost like a wind or something, and that's what someone said that they. But of course, the producer said that that's not true. They didn't overlay something into that or any of that kind of thing. So I'm just
Okay.
curious. That was funny.
Okay. I'll put it in my movie editor and I'll see if I can
Okay.
pick out anything kind of functified. Well, no, I think that Kathy switch it back. That was fun.
Sorry.
I know, it's upside down.
I was getting a phone call. My phone's been ringing off the hook since I've been here. I'm like, nobody ever calls me for anything. And I'm like, now my phone is like ringing off the hook like crazy. So
It's funny.
Okay,
Yeah.
so are we up to like where the ghost appears?
I'm fast forwarding because we didn't have as much time because I got all flabbergasted. The Reverend and Frank trying to find his ancestry.
Ancestry. Yeah.
Again, one of those things that they seamlessly put in the story and yet is so important to Claire's survival as the story
Bible,
continues.
right? Blackjack.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very clever, Diana and the producers, the writers, keeping what they could in there. I love when storytelling does that. You don't even realize you're
Yeah.
getting very important information. It's just like
Or
they're
the
boring talking
tea
about
leaf
stuff.
reading also is foreshadowing. The whole tea reading
Yes.
and all of that is kind
Yeah.
of all foreshadowing what's going to happen later. I think
Yeah.
that was
Right.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Seamlessly.
so important,
Yep.
in big novels, to pay attention to those little bitty tidbits that we have, that are
Yeah.
going to be, like we said, like really important.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started watching this, I'm very interested in ancestry. So it made me even want to watch the series more
Yeah.
because I thought it was going to be more ancestry kind of thing,
Right.
So, and there is quite a bit,
There is quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
but I thought that's interesting.
Well, the further the story goes along, you just realize everybody's actually related to everybody else.
Somewhere, I know, right? Somewhere, I know.
This is my cousin husband 5,000 times removed.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is my father's grandfather.
Exactly.
Once we get into the later seasons.
That's funny. Yep.
Great grandpa. Let's let you meet your parents.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Yep.
moment. So yeah.
I like when it. Where are we at?
Well, we're getting our tea leaves read. With
Read.
our two marriages but no
Lost my
divorce.
volume, so I'm gonna try
and a
and play
jur-
with it. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you fine.
Oh, I don't know why you guys went kind of quiet. I mean, I can hear you, but it's very quiet.
You're just
Oh,
all
okay.
over the place with that
Okay.
thing.
No one has ever said I'm very quiet. Thank you, Kathy.
Yeah, me neither.
We we're just not quiet folks.
We are not quiet people.
I had never heard of that tea that they were drinking. I thought that was interesting too.
Oolong?
Now, I know a lot of
Oolong?
teas, but I had never
Oolong
heard
tea?
yeah,
of
oolong
I
that.
love
tea.
oolong tea. It's fabulous.
I heard about it the first time watching Toy Story.
I actually have oolong tea upstairs.
I've never even heard of it until this series.
Okay. I'm not a tea drinker at all, so it doesn't matter to me. I don't like it. Nobody can tell my future.
Ginger tea, I love ginger tea.
Ginger. My sister swears by ginger tea, and I can't.
Fabulous.
I don't like tea.
I don't
It
like
has a unique flavor to it. So
Great
I
for your
don't like
stomach.
ginger.
I should have probably
I-
been drinking that today. But I didn't
We'll
have
get
any
you
handy.
some tea and honey. Everybody wanted me to have tea and honey, and I felt so bad because I don't do tea. I'll have honey though, honey and hot water. I'll do that. I got vitamin C packs. I downed one before I got on here, so I could pretend I have
Too late
energy.
now.
That's whiskey
girl.
and water and some tea
Yeah.
or some honey. There you go.
There you go, honey and lemon. Okay, now we're at the ghost. We got the ghost, and
Ghost.
the ghost of some Scottish guy, probably that she nursed while she was working,
Yeah.
and
I
He
love
gets
that.
all-
You ever notice how it's always raining there, and everyone acts like it's never raining in Scotland. That's the first time I think I saw with an umbrella that it's actually
Yeah.
raining in Scotland. Have you ever noticed that?
yeah,
We always walk around.
everybody
with
just
no
walks
umbrellas,
around in the rain.
Just walk around when it's pouring out.
Yeah.
Oh, it messed up my
Frank was the only
hair.
one that had an umbrella. Smart man.
Well, they're trying to get people to travel to Scotland, so they didn't want to show all the rain.
It's hilarious.
I
Even on the
think
program, you can see it
it's
raining.
really interesting here that we talk about the ghost, but we talk about the author because she says that she is not going to say
Mm-mm.
who that person is
Until
in
the 10th
her
book.
10th book. Okay.
Yeah.
She's going to say who it is in like the epilogue, after the story, after the 10th book is over, then she's going to explain right there
Really?
who the ghost is but it's interesting that really such a small part of the series has so many people interested in, like, okay, he looks like somebody we know or
Right.
somebody we're gonna know.
Right.
But we're not sure. I mean, I think that's really interesting that she has. I don't know if she did that on purpose and knew that that was going to happen, but I just think it's interesting.
It is interesting, and they're not going to explain that in the
No.
story either. They're not. 'Cause
Now,
One
they
of those
in
don't,
the
Easter egg things that's
in
going to
the
keep you talking.
series, I mean, we don't know in the TV.
and
They
they
may.
won't explain that in the TV either.
I
It's never
I
going to be
actually
explained.
did hear that they are going to explain it in the last episode of season
How
8.
are they
I
going to
don't know
explain
if
that
it's
when they
true.
don't?
Or it's a rumor, but it's one of those things I read in one of the articles that I read through. But I don't know for sure if that's what's going to happen. But I
Yeah.
read it that
Because-
that's what they want to do.
Because
just-
didn't what's her name? The one of the lead people. Why can't I think of that? The producer's name, Meryl.
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 They weren't going to because they were going to let Diana do that in the book.
But they
See,
wouldn't
I
do the
never
same
heard her
thing
say
as
that.
Diana. Okay, we
Right.
could very well get a very different interpretation on the television screen than what Diana is going to present to
Right.
us in book form. So,
Of course.
I mean, we'll get an answer. It might not be the same one as Diana does, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going. Yeah, we'll see. Interesting.
Yeah. I put money on it. We'll put money on it at the end of the season.
I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna address that. I don't.
I don't think
Okay.
so either.
I don't think they're going to. I think they're gonna let Diana address that, and they're gonna leave it not on the
That's
program.
interesting.
That's just my own theory. I just think that because I don't.
well, I think it's funny that him seeing a ghost is like what starts a fight between them almost about her fidelity or whether
Yep.
she was faithful or not. And I'm
Faithful.
thinking, dude, you know you were not faithful for 5 years.
That's too
She
funny.
was so busy being a surgeon. I'm sure she
Ex-
didn't have time to do shit.
Yeah.
Tired too when she was doing it. Yeah.
Then flop
She's-
in bed and fall asleep.
While he's sitting at
Men
a
are
desk
dogs.
telling people where to go be spies, I feel like he probably fooled around. I feel like that.
One thing I have to say about Frank, though, he even said to her during that whole little section there is that, even if you did, I don't care. I love you anyways. So he didn't
Yeah.
really care if she did. I think Frank loved Claire more than the other way around. That's just me.
Yeah, I would agree.
I do
Don't
too,
you?
but
I agree that Frank loved her more than the other way around. That's just me.
I think that she loved him as much as she knew she could love until she met Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
If-
we all know, Jamie, what is her true love? I mean,
Yes.
he is her true love.
Soulmate.
She was meant to be with him, where
Mhm.
Frank was somebody to fill, her needs.
But
Maybe
the
it
thing
was
is
her
that she didn't
first.
know
Maybe
that at
Frank
the
was her
time, so
first
why-
love.
How would she know that?
Yeah. Pardon
Right?
me?
Yeah.
How
Was
would
she
she know
her?
that?
Frank was her first love.
Yeah,
she would
I
know
really,
that.
I don't think that she didn't love Frank or only married him
Oh,
out of convenience or
yeah.
anything.
Right.
I just didn't, I don't think she knew how deep she could love someone else.
Yeah.
Well,
Because,
she didn't
yeah.
have, her parents died when she was so young, she didn't really know like what it was like, to have that kind of love maybe.
Yeah.
So she didn't really understand. And so, when Frank come along, he was a nice guy probably, and she
Mhm.
thought he was great and would be a great father to her children.
And
So
he was. Yeah.
yeah.
And he,
So she married him.
She was,
That's why I
he
think
was
that
her
whole-
vase. He was her
I
Yeah.
vase.
agree. I agree.
Absolutely.
that's her home, yeah.
That's a great
Stable.
way to put it, Katie.
Yeah, sense of
Perfect.
security, maybe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sense of security.
yeah.
Pretty.
Totally.
And
So
then
where are we now?
we're at the we're having a little dance in the middle of the night with some ladies wearing their sheets.
I love
Oh.
that. The music in that is beautiful. It just
Yes.
makes the whole scene is that music.
Yeah.
Beautifully
Gorgeous
filmed.
music. Mhm.
This the
Yes,
lights
it was.
from the
Lighting was
lantern.
Amazing. Yep.
It was
Beautiful.
so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything was great in that. And I do like that they're kind of like sneaking. We're gonna watch them. Don't shut. And they're commenting on the housekeeper is a witch.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the overlay that Claire says. I felt like I was an intruder, like I wasn't supposed to be there almost. And she
Yeah.
says I got prickly feelings from when she was watching them, like she wasn't supposed to be watching them or something. I found that
Right.
very interesting too.
Yeah.
Like she's encroaching on a secret world.
Right.
Right.
Really
Yep.
beautiful.
And when they saw the housekeeper, like you said, Katie, it was kind of weird. Oh my gosh, there's a Mrs. whatever her name is. I'm terrible with names.
Graham.
Okay.
Yeah,
Mrs.
Mrs. Graham.
Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
So then the next day they get up and he goes and meets the preacher, and then she decides to go back
Right.
Right.
To pick flowers.
to
Which she,
find the flowers.
Hmm.
I like that she picked that habit up during wartime. I'm guessing because there wasn't always the medication necessary at hand. So you do what you got to
Right.
do with what you got.
Yep.
I love that that's a hobby she picks up.
Hmm.
Do want to stop real quick about when the sunlight comes up and the girl comes back to fetch
Oh, I'm
something.
sorry.
Hmm.
One of the funny theories, and I am going to get ahead of myself. I apologize. The
What you're gonna
faith
say.
theories is that's
Yes.
faith. I thought that was
I know.
funny. I think that is a far-fetched one, but worth mentioning just in
Totally.
case. Just
I know.
in
I've
case.
heard that too. was
I heard
totally
that too.
far-fetched.
I'm like, no, I don't
No,
think so.
I don't think so. No,
No,
Then
I
yeah,
don't think
people
so
are just
either.
coming up with really super far-fetched stuff.
they are.
Yeah, that was kind of silly.
Yeah, that's kind of silly. True.
But
Okay,
that's
sorry.
interesting. Thanks for bringing that up.
That amazed me though when she went back to go get the flowers, the forget-me-nots.
Hmm.
Mhm.
I didn't realize after watching it back again, I mean, it's only like the seventh time I've seen it, that the forget-me-nots were on the different stone. I always thought that they were on the actual stone that she went through, but they were on
Yeah.
the other stone. I'm
Other
like,
side.
oh,
Right.
wait, what?
Right. Because she
Yeah,
stands
and
up and
then
hears the noise and
yeah,
turns around, and
Yeah.
that's the stone on the other end. Right. She hears
See,
the
it's one of those
noise and
things
hears
that
the
I
wind,
missed.
and the whole thing happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so so next thing is she hears something, like Jackie said. She turns around
Right.
and she puts her hands kind of out, and like I don't remember her actually touching it. It's almost like it took her before she touched it, you know?
we
They just
never
don't show her
see them
touching.
like
Right.
touching them. It's we
Right.
always
Yeah.
see them like, and it's really, and then bam, we don't know.
Yeah, they go into the kind of the black screen, and then they're on the other side or something. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Black or whatever they
That's
call it in action speak.
they're just mean. That's all it is. It's mean. That's all it is. And she finds
Right.
herself. I like that one line. She's walking around going, "What?" Because the road is just gone. There was a road and a car here a minute ago, and it reminds me of Doctor Who when he just goes, "What? What?" She's
Yeah.
just, what?
I love me some Doctor Who.
I don't think I've ever watched that show.
John
No.
Tennant. Oh my God.
Highly recommend when you just want to giggle at ridiculousness.
Yes.
It's super
The
fun.
original Doctor Who. I
Yeah,
haven't
the
seen the
original.
newer one,
Yeah.
but the original.
That's
I've got
funny.
all of the original and up to season 6 of the current one, just
Yeah,
because I've been
he's so
lazy about
good.
getting the other ones. Yep,
Funny.
it's so good. Anyway,
One thing about
Doctor Who.
Claire, when she
So-
goes through the stones, it's like, wait, what happened?
Yeah.
I-
Can you imagine?
She seems like she's just
you
kind
know?
of, in some ways, I think Claire is very smart in what she does, and she knows her way around doing surgery
Yeah.
and medical care. But when it comes to like the ways of life, I feel like she's, even though she's been a traveler, I feel like in some ways she's still kind of naive a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it can be that way when you wake up 200 years in the past. I can
Yeah,
understand her there.
we'll allow that.
I like
I
that she,
if she
the
hears
voiceover of
gunshot,
her.
but she thinks she's on a movie set.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
say the voiceover
Yeah,
of
I
her
know,
trying to
that's so
rationalize what's going on
Right.
here.
What's going on here? She says, "I think I'm on a movie set," or whatever she calls it,
Yeah.
but it's a movie set. Yeah.
But for whatever
Like, wait a
reason,
second,
they
they don't
shouldn't be
run
using
gunfire
live
for that.
ammunition. She
Yeah,
ducks.
running for
And
her
then she starts
life.
running.
Oh,
I have a question
and of
about
course
that,
we're
though. I have a question. They always talk about how they need a stone to travel through the stone. What stone did she have when she did it the first time? Did they ever explain what stone she used for that?
in the book, I want to say
I can't
it's
remember
either
what it in the book.
Well, she
Uh,
has a ring. Of
her ring. I'm pretty sure.
Diamond.
And
Is
I
it?
think the diamond on her watch.
I think it was the
That's
watch.
right.
Was
It's
that
the
it? I think
diamond on the
that's what it
watch.
was.
Thank you,
The watch.
Kathy.
That was it. There was diamonds in the watch. That's it. I
Yeah.
couldn't remember what it
Yeah.
was that she uses. That's it. And she didn't even know
So
that. How did she figure that out? Is what I want to know.
Well, I
I
think
don't
when
know.
she got there, she noticed it was missing. And then when
Right.
that's the only thing
Oh,
that made sense to her. Plus, she talks to Galus, and
yeah.
there's
No,
more of
Galus wouldn't.
discussion.
Yeah, but Galus thought. Now we're getting ahead of each other.
Okay, never mind.
Galus thought
I,
he had to do something else. Remember?
there's more
Yeah.
chats in the books, though, so I don't recall. But
Yeah.
yeah, she infers, she figures it out in her
Figures that out.
brain
Yeah.
that.
I remember what she does in
Yeah.
the book. Yeah. True.
At anywho,
Okay.
so she's running around in the past because that's what you do for fun, and runs into this really nice redcoat who just happens to
Yeah.
look,
Yeah.
has to be nice, looks just like her husband.
When she goes free.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what are you doing?
What you doing here?
I'm not even going to get into the thing with Blackjack because Murtaugh saving her is probably the best thing coming up.
Yes.
And you're like, especially when you're rewatching it, you're going, it's Murta taking her off, saves her, hides her behind a tree,
Yep.
Yeah.
and then the
And
meeting
then
with
knocks her out.
yes,
Knocks her
thank
out
you.
with his blade. It's like,
Mhm.
holy shit, he really hit her hard.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
Hear it. I mean, it's
yeah,
loud.
funk.
Yeah. She's got a hard head. You know, Jamie says she's got a hard head.
I think he was talking about her being stubborn, right? No,
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, about, he fell in love with her, feeling her hard head bang, hit
thumping on his chest
chest.
on the way.
Yeah.
Put on his chest. Yeah.
Okay, so Murda, he saves her.
He
Right,
goes back to
and
the wherever they are in some little
Yeah,
hole
like
somewhere with all the
wherever
rest of the
they're
Highlanders.
hiding.
yeah, it's
Right.
like a
So they're
shack or a cabin. I mean, it's got a
yeah.
fireplace, so it's
Right.
Yeah. Well,
something
it's
of
somebody
value.
else's house. It's
Right.
somebody else's house. Don't you remember there's a lady there in the house
No, that's
somewhere?
right. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't see her very well, but she's
Mm-mm.
there.
Right. I
So
like how the argument is
Jamie,
was she a lady or a whore? It cracks me up.
That-
yeah.
I think she was, and Murdoch goes, "Yeah, I'm putting betting on that she's not a whore."
yeah.
He says that cracks me up.
I think
We'll
it was
figure it
just
out
somebody.
later, is what Dougal says. Well, I'm not worried about
Right.
it. We'll
We don't have
figure
time
out
for
what
that
she
right
is
now.
now.
Yeah.
Although
And we get
the
to
one redeeming quality from Dougal is he's not going to stand for any rape. I do
Yeah,
think
good
that
for
was
him.
interesting that
Yeah.
he's the one who says that, but some honor.
I know, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So
At
we
least
get
for the
to see
moment.
Jamie for the first time.
Yeah, hold on. I'm looking at him. He's having a hard day right now.
Yeah.
Day right.
I think he's got an issue.
Do you have any comments
Yeah.
going on, Katie?
Comments going on? We're just chatting. I suppose other people. I'm sorry. Well, we have Cynthia and Stacy here as well as that's it. They're just babbling a lot, and had some good comments. We are. Let's see. Second honeymoon. We're starting from the beginning. We got second honeymoon chat. I swear a voice says she's. Okay, and Stacy says she hears the voice that says she's mine in the hallway. So
mine.
you're right, Jackie. Somebody hears that one.
Maybe that's an issue.
Yeah, there's ghosts in the walls apparently. I'm concerned.
Hot in the
I got my
castle, girl.
comments kind of cut off. Let's see. I think
You
you're
see your
right,
big
Jackie.
fat finger there, Kathy.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out my volume because it went down. It's weird.
And Cynthia
Sorry, I'm
agrees with
tracking.
Kathy that the diamond was in the watch. So I knew she had
I
a.
think
Yeah.
that's
I
what
do.
it's in the book too. If I remember right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
that
it is. It's in the
that's
book.
right. I remember that now.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sam is
He's-
injured,
Yeah, and
and we got to figure out what we're gonna do with his arm.
she does a good job quickly, and he listens very quickly. I
Yeah.
like that has a commanding voice. So even though they just met her, she's like, "I'm gonna yank your arm back into socket," and he's like, "All right then."
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
He's
it's
probably
funny
too much
because
pain
Jamie
to care
didn't
at this
fight her,
point.
you know.
Yeah.
The
Well,
other
you know
guys
what I
I think would
really
have been like, no, just leave him, or leave me alone, leave me be. But he didn't fight her.
Right.
well, he knew he couldn't go. He couldn't ride with his arm like that. He says he couldn't
Right.
go any further. He could barely sit there.
He's like,
Yeah.
I'll
Um,
try anything.
and she was going to stay quiet, but I like that the fact that she's a nurse, she can't watch somebody do this wrong. She's right there. So she
Yeah,
jumps
that's good,
in.
Katie.
But I think
Yeah.
that helps her so much because then she has value automatically right there. She's got some
Yeah.
skill. And so that I think was good for her as they travel on.
I think it causes them to go, maybe she's worth saving.
It might
Yeah.
help to convince them that she's not the whore, too.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
That's true.
So they decide that after he's all put back together, so then they decide they're gonna ride off.
Right.
She finds out that they're gonna ride for how many days? Like,
I think it was another that night, the next night probably, because they had
Yeah.
15
Days,
miles
yeah.
to go more when he
Yeah.
falls off the horse.
I can't
Um,
even imagine being hurt like that and have to be on a horse.
No, no, no. Well, and then of course they have to. She recognizes the rock from Frank's discussion with her earlier, the mountaintop
So about
there.
the redcoats hiding. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ambushing.
and
Yep.
and warns them about that too. Thankfully, she thinks I heard it in the village because Dougal's like, "Where'd you hear this? How do you know this stuff?"
Right. He
Yeah.
gets suspicious automatically. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and who can blame him? But that kind of
She's
confirms
English.
maybe she's a spy or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Because she's English, so why would she not be a spy? Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And like you
But boy,
said, just like we were talking, you have to pay attention because we're gonna get little tidbits, especially this first season, little things you gotta pay attention to.
yep. Yeah. Well, and the first half of the season really informs on the second half too. We learn about
Yeah.
Jamie's past a lot. We already know Claire's more than we know Jamie's, obviously. But
Yeah.
yeah, they're pulling up on the rock here, and they're gonna have a little fight, a little sword play just for fun, and
Fun.
I
just
like
for
how
fun.
he just pushes her off. How he just pushes her off the horse too. I'm like, holy
Feed
shit!
yourself.
He just whoop, and she was gone off the horse.
It's funny.
I'd run too down that, to get away from him.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I
Smart
mean they're
girl.
just.
She's not going to hang out
That's
there.
what I would have done. They're distracted. They're fighting. This is your chance to get away.
Get away. Absolutely.
But I love what he says to her. When he finds her after the fight. And he's got his swords like out. And he's like, "I'm not going with you," or something, whatever he says. And he says something about, "You don't look like you weigh that much."
Put you over my
It's
shoulder.
put you over my
Put you-
shoulder. And
Like, do you want me to do that? And she's like, no.
No.
I was like, oh
No.
my God, just put me over your shoulder.
She's like a petulant child in that moment too. No.
I know.
Yeah.
No.
Please, Sam, just put me over your shoulder.
Yeah, I don't have a choice.
Yes. I'll go anywhere.
Take me.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
take me.
Jan, jeez.
I know, I'm terrible. These
Well, it's
people
not like I don't
know
encourage.
that. See, this is a new series. They don't know how crazy I am.
These may be all new people. That's right, Jan.
Yeah.
Jan likes Sam
We don't know
just
her.
a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Just a little bit.
I do too.
You're making that up, Katie.
I really am not.
But anyway, he's standing there. He looks so gorgeous, even though he's got that blood, on his face.
I know, right?
Yep.
God, he looks so romantic. With
It's the
his
same thing when I
shirt.
first saw this. I said, how can someone look so gorgeous dirty?
I know.
Right?
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's what I said the
God.
first time I watched that. How does this man look so pretty gorgeous dirty?
I know.
Is that not what sucked us into the show? I mean,
ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, that
Yeah.
picture
Yeah.
of him, I have seen that picture so many times. that he is so gorgeous, and what he says to her, and it's just like one of those romance novels, in the beginning of those romance novels. Anyway,
He's even got a
yeah.
blousey shirt, so
Yeah, it's
Mhm.
like that's why I said it's like one of those blousy shirts that they all wear,
It's so dirty.
we just needed
Well, I
some
can
wind
confirm
blowing
he
for
is
you.
gorgeous.
Oh yeah, we all confirm, but nobody here think. No, honestly, Sam is just awful to look at. It's really been rough
Yeah,
for me having to talk about this stuff. I don't know,
I know.
I know, right?
Awful.
Yes.
and we're getting thumbs up from folks, so apparently it's all
Liar,
right.
liar, yeah, liar,
Oh.
liar, pants on fire.
Yeah, that's what we're doing now. She's doing the no. Okay.
So they are traveling. Look, he looks okay. They're traveling, going through the forest and everything. And
Yeah.
then I love it when she's on the horse with him, and he's going over, and she was like, "He's going over, he's going over."
I thought that was one of their lines that they had to do an audition, and she goes, "How many times did we hear that? He's going over." Because that was part of the audition too. Was that scene
Mhm.
right there? Him
Oh my
going over.
gosh, yeah.
Too funny.
That's funny.
And then of course she
I love how
spends the rest of the time cursing at him, trying to get
Cursing
things
at him.
put back
Wow.
together. You bloody shot, Jesus H. Roosevelt Christ, ripping up her dress. And then
I just love when they're all staring at him like, "What is she talking about? I've never heard a woman talk like
Yeah.
that."
But she's
you know what?
fussing at him.
What irritates me is that she's confirmed she's 200 years in the past, and she starts spitting out what she needs to fix him. And it's things that I know they aren't going to have. Shouldn't she know they aren't going to have?
Well,
Yeah.
really, right?
Huh?
Methylate, really?
Yeah, I
They
would
don't even know what methylate is. No.
Yeah. But then
I would
alcohol?
say
Oh, here you go.
I would say one of the reasons why she did that maybe was because a lot of people in the health field, it's automatic. It's like a training thing. I need this, and I need this, and I need that. So it might have been something. It just came out. Automatic.
That's possible. That's just something that bugs
Well,
me
once
because
they
I'm
drink
like,
alcohol, they're like,
read the room. Like literally
Yeah.
read the room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Know
just
your
her
audience,
just her
people.
natural
Grimy.
instincts of being a nurse.
Yeah, grimy looking men with clean cloth. Yeah, right.
Well, she does manage to get him, and that's the moment we find out later. Yes, again, I'm going to break my own rule. That's the moment he fell in love with her. Was her
Yes.
yelling
with
and
her.
getting
That's
him
what he
put back
says.
together
Yeah,
after he
right there.
falls off the horse.
Calls
No, I
him,
think that
what
was
is it? She goes, "Get on your horse, soldier," or something like that.
yeah. Back on your horse, soldier. And so
And
Yeah.
they
this time he
go.
calls her Sassenach too. Actually,
Yeah.
this time.
Thank you, truly, Sassenach. That's when he's
Yeah.
thanking her for her
Yeah.
assistance in
Yeah.
ripping his arm off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so then she also finds out that he's been shot.
Yeah.
Right, that's when
During
he
that
fell
time.
off the horse. So
Yeah,
that's
when
why
he fell off
he's
the horse. Yeah,
right.
that's why he's lost a lot of blood.
Right.
So then next day is them getting to Castle Leon.
Correct.
And we can't talk about anything else because we're all done. That's the end. That's the end of the first one.
That's the end of the episode. Right.
I
That's
know.
episode 1.
I've not watched Outlander this slow except when it airs ever. Usually I'm like 10 episodes a day.
I know,
if I'm
right?
gonna
Right? Same.
Right. Same here too. You're just kind of binge watching, right?
Yeah.
I don't wanna wait a week, but that's okay. I'm gonna try to do good and wait a week
Okay,
to watch
I'm
it.
confused. So the end is when they get to Castle Leon, and that's
Correct.
the
Yeah.
very end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I thought it was longer than that. So I
No,
must.
they're rolling into Castle Leoc.
Yeah. And then it
Yeah.
cuts out to the
And then it
next
cuts out
episode.
to black. Yeah. And
But that's
credits.
okay,
I
Jan.
loved it. I loved it. I loved the whole first. I think this first episode was just. I mean the writing, the The
It
cinematography
was amazing.
was just so amazing. I can't even believe that this series did not win its first year, an
Mm.
Emmy. It just amazes
Yeah.
me. They just ignore them for the Emmys. I'm sorry. That is such a huge mistake. The acting,
About the
and
genre though. It's not about the acting.
obviously,
Yeah.
They rarely do sci-fi, whatever they're classified as the genre. I don't even know what they talked about that.
Historical drama with a sci-fi
Or
twist, sci
yeah, and
fantasy twist.
they
Yeah.
don't really ever acknowledge those kind of programs. I mean, Star
No.
Trek. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah.
It's its own
another
thing.
level of writing that they
Mhm.
yeah, but
have
that
done
Yeah,
was
that.
it's very
obvious.
different.
This was different. It
Usually,
was great.
like I would have thought at the very least, like the costuming they would have gotten acknowledged for, because I think that was really well done, very
Yeah.
fairly accurate for a television series. I mean, really, they're
Oh,
pretty
absolutely.
on.
Yeah, costuming and makeup.
I
Hmm.
think they have over the past few years, but the first season, no, it was too new for them to
They
carry
didn't.
Yeah.
some
They
type
haven't
of
won any Emmys.
too
They've
new.
No,
won British. They have won. Not British, but they've won
like
Scottish.
BAFTAs.
The
Yeah,
BAFTAs,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
but yeah,
So,
Sam.
yeah,
Sam has won before for best leading actor, and she has won several times.
yes.
Yeah, they definitely. I just think that's terrible. You know, I guess they think that it's a bunch of housewives over the age of 30 that watch the show, and we don't have to. You know what I mean?
We
Yeah.
must show our power. Uh, Jackie, what did you
Yeah,
think of the premiere episode?
I love the premiere episode. It was so fresh and new and different, and the landscape of Scotland is what really draws you into that truth. I mean, I love the acting. I get that Sam and Katrina do beautiful, but really the landscape draws you into that episode because they
Yeah.
Yeah.
showcase it a lot. In the first season, they showcase that a lot, and the first
Yes.
episode kind of draws you into Scotland. Yeah, it was
And
beautiful.
how
It was a
about you,
vibe. I loved
Kathy?
it. I
Oh,
felt
sorry.
Yeah, I loved it too. I mean, I've watched like Yellowstone and some other things where they have, big cinematic things like that, but this was so different from anything that I've ever watched.
Mhm.
I mean, I love it. I mean, of course, now I'm on my seventh time of watching, so
I know,
that
right?
just shows you right there. I mean,
I can't even tell you how many times I've watched it.
yeah.
I honestly couldn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many times, too many times.
Too many
And I
times.
binge watched the first two seasons because I didn't discover it until the second season was over. So
Yeah.
I watched it all, and then that's why I went and got the books because I'm impatient. So
Yeah.
hmm
read
I
that from the
think
beginning.
I think I started watching it the third season.
Really?
Okay.
I found it season 6. That's
Yeah, I
Okay.
when
think I started watching it. I'm kind of a late comer. I didn't
me
start
too.
watching it till probably like season 5 or close to 6. So,
Me too.
But it's
Yeah.
really common because a lot of people didn't discover it until they got Netflix and didn't have anything else to
And that
watch.
was
And
it. That's where I found
yeah,
it. It was on Netflix at season 6
exactly.
or
And
hmm
5 or
someone just
whatever it was.
happened to tell me about it. I don't even
Yeah.
remember. And I went and found it. I was like, okay, I'll go
Mhm.
check this out. Um, so
Just
yeah,
came across it
we just have a
on
few
Netflix.
seconds left. So because we started a little late on me, but I want to thank you guys for coming on this first one. And it's always
Absolutely.
fun babbling with you. I always have good points and just fun
Thanks for
chatting.
having us.
Yeah.
It was
Hope your
wonderful.
dad is
Thanks for
okay.
having us.
Thanks for having us, Katie.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you all off, but I think it's about to cut off. So just have a
All
really
right.
good rest of your evening, ladies.
Yeah. Have a
You
good
All
night.
too.
right, thank
See you
you.
Love
guys.
you
See you,
guys.
Kathy. See you, Jan.
See you guys again.
Bye,
Bye.
Jan. Bye, Kathy. Bye, Jackie. And
Bye.
look out
Bye.
for insights for the next ones.
Okay. I'm waiting.
Alrighty. Hey, I'm probably going to cut off before I go, but that's all right. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Hope you enjoyed this little chat and maybe had some thoughts that we hadn't talked about before, you hadn't thought of before. But we're going to continue on with each episode as we go each Monday, as long as I can keep it up. So thank you again for joining me, and stay tuned. Stay tuned for us next week. We'll be picking it up with the second episode, and we'll see where Claire ended up. What happened? We've never seen this.